evening and welcome to Wichita. It's a showdown at the Roundhouse tonight. First place is on the line in the American as USF and WSU do battle inside Charles Koch Arena. Glad to bring it to you. Glad you're with us. Shane and Bob with you. And everybody in the American knows USF can really score. And at the heart of it is Joseph Pinion. But he's a really unique guy and not just a scorer from three-point range. As a matter of fact, he's the only guy in the country that has 80 made threes, 80 rebounds, and 40 steals. So he's a versatile guy, but make no mistake about it, Bob. He sees a couple go in the basket. It's a nightmare for opposing defenses. Likewise, about the last month, Karan Boyd for Wichita State.
Yeah, 6'6", 220-pound Karan Boyd has really been playing good basketball for Wichita State. A week ago, he scored 18 against Charlotte. And then Sunday, down at Tulane, he had 18 points, 11 rebounds, while guarding one of the top guards in the league, Rowan Brumbaugh. Karan Boyd, he does it all for the Shockers.
Time for our groundworks. Keys to the game for both teams.
All right, for the Bulls, they want to push it up, try to attack the defense before it gets set. Defensively, deny penetration. Don't let the Shockers get into their drive and attack the basket mode, and then they've got to box off. Wichita State's an excellent offensive rebounding team. For Wichita State, offensively, move the basketball. Make the Bulls defend. Don't try to put up quick shots. Work your offense. Defensively, transition defense. You've got to sprint back. You've got to stop the ball, and you got to point and find the shooters because USF can light you up if you let them run and gun.
Second meeting between the two clubs back on January the 18th. It was an overtime thriller that Wichita State stole right before the gun thanks to a steal and basket by Kenyon Giles. 86-85 was your final. Wichita State had a big lead early, gave it all back, and then stole it at the very end in Tampa. And that really kick-started Wichita State's run that they're on right now.
Yeah, gave them a lot of confidence winning that game against South Florida in Tampa. That was quite a ball game. I was there. They went back and forth all night.
All five starters for the Bulls average 12 points or more. This is an offensive machine that the Shockers will have to deal with here at the arena. And a finger roll is good by Joseph Pinion, the guy we talked about just a second ago. Yeah. Not just a three-point shooter.
He's limping as he comes back up the floor. I don't know if he pulled a muscle or what, but he's hurting out there.
Good eye. We will certainly keep an eye on that. There's Giles, who had 22 points, including the game winner in Tampa. Also added 5 threes. Be a lot of threes in the air tonight between these two clubs. Giles forces and hits from 17 feet.
Wow, they had an aggressive double team when Giles came off that first screen. They really took the basketball away from him, but he got it back and made a nice fadeaway right there. South Florida's got a lot of offensive weapons. It's really hard to focus in on one guy.
Collision down low, and Okorafor gets the best of it for Wichita State. Bulls coming off an 80-74 win over Tulsa. Dylan Battie hooks it up and in. He had a pretty good game down in Tampa and has kept it up ever since.
Yeah, he had a great game Sunday down at Tulane.
Pinion denied. Boyd met him at the rim. Shockers come back the other way. Wichita State coming off a 14-point victory over Tulane on Super Bowl Sunday down in New Orleans. First place on the line here tonight. If Wichita State can win, they would win a tiebreaker if it came down to it over USF. Shockers at 7-4 in the American. Bulls 8-3. First foul of the ball game will go against Wichita State. Dylan Battie sniffing around the backcourt. Got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, so the Bulls will get it back.
Yeah, he really played well Sunday at Tulane. Had 19 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, and really has been playing good basketball.
Here's one of the best point guards in the country right here. C.J. Brown had 16 points and 8 assists against Wichita State in the previous meeting. but the lob was read beautifully by the Shocker interior defense. It turns into a turnover. And Okorafor gets it poked away.
Yeah, he had 3 guys around him. Not a good time to put the ball on the floor when you're surrounded by defenders.
Omajafo missed the layup, left a little bit short.
Well, he didn't miss very many of those. He's really strong taking the ball to the basket.
He lives at the free throw line, too. Giles wants a guarded 3 off the side iron. Wes Enos, the other half of that dynamic duo shooting threes besides Pinion for the Bulls. And USF started a little chilly. They're 1 for their first 5.
Boy, I like the way E-Man is rebounding for Wichita State. He's going after every single ball down here on the defensive boards.
Emmanuel Okorafor with a couple of rebounds already. The 2 best offensive rebounding teams in the American and 2 of the top 6 in the country. The Bulls and the Shockers really get after it after the shot goes up.
There's another double team on Giles.
Bati, ball fake, and he'll get to the free throw line. Got C.J. Brown in the air. I think it's Brown, the guilty party. Will Berg will check in for Wichita State. There's a ball at the scorer's table getting set to check in for USF.
Well, I don't know how Kenyon Giles got that ball out of that trap. He was trapped in the dead corner, but made a nice pivot, got the ball to his teammate, Bati.
Bati to the free throw line. He's averaging just under 6 points per game. But in his last 8, he's been in double figures 4 times. So he has really come on lately. Berg in. Also, Damian Collins in for the Bulls. This has been an Achilles heel, though, for Bati. Hasn't been a great free throw shooter this year. He does split a pair there. He's got 3 of the Shockers' 5. This is one of the quickest teams in the country as far as pace is concerned. Top 15 in KenPom in adjusted tempo, the Bulls. Gavin Hightower just handling it right there into the game early. He only played briefly against Tulsa the other night. Will Berg with another defensive rebound for Wichita State. Bulls are now 1 out of 6. Michael Gray draws some contact and a 3-point opportunity. What a circus shot that turned out to be.
My goodness, went spinning in there like a top. Bounced off 2 defenders and figured out a way to get the ball in the basket. Watch this. Bam, bam, ran into 2 guys. Shoveled it up there and got the friendly roll as it went through the hoop.
Omajafo picked up the personal. Gray to the free throw line. Normally an excellent foul shooter. Knocks that one down. He's really been struggling offensively in his last 4 games, Bob. He's struggled to see the ball go through the hoop.
Yeah, he's only averaging 4 points a game in the last 4 and not shooting very well from 3, 2 for 14, but he played really well against these guys down in Tampa.
And Hightower throws it out of bounds. Timeout on the floor. It's an 8-0 Shocker run. 3 seconds below the media timeout. Wichita State has owned this series, including 5-1 here in Wichita, and the highlight we showed at the very top, Kenyon Giles providing the game winner in Tampa in OT earlier this year.
Now, that was a crazy game down there in Tampa. Shockers got up early, 30-15, kind of started like they did in this ball game, hitting threes, playing really well defensively, got up 15, and then they were only up 1 at half and got down 13 in the second half, came back and tied the score at the end, put the game into overtime and won the game in overtime. That was a back and forth battle down there in Tampa.
TJ Williams in there for Wichita State. Only Collins off the bench so far for USF as Gavin Hightower has gone back out. Will Berg going right to work, and he banks it in. Over the slightly shorter Damian Collins. First two for Berg.
Yeah, he's got a lot of weight advantage on Collins. There's a nice cut and a shot attempt. Looked like he's going to pick up a foul. Ennis going to the basket.
And they're going to count the basket. And that's going to be a basket interference on TJ Williams, so that will count, and a three-point opportunity for the Bulls. It'll be Wes Ennis. 79 threes this year for Ennis. He had 20 points and 6 assists in their win against Tulsa. And rattles out. It's a good foul shooting team, USF, nearly 74%, and they get there a lot. They lead the country in free throws.
Lead the country in free throws shot and free throws made.
Yeah, you name it. Giles hits a three. Kenyon Giles has 5 points.
He leads the Shockers in doing that.
81 long-range bombs for him. And Giles tied up. The guard on the drive, that was
Brown.
C.J. Brown. So that'll be a turnover, and Wichita State will get it back.
Yeah, Brown drove to the left there, and Giles did a good job of getting his hand right on the basketball. So far, pretty good defense by Wichita State. South Florida just 2 out of 7 to open up this ball game.
Adriel Niora checks in for the Bulls for the first time. There goes TJ Williams down to the left side, and it's rejected. Some of the fans may have wanted to goaltend, but Williams comes up with a steal in backcourt.
Yeah, Collins is a really good shot blocker. He got up quick, as you can see there. Looked like TJ Williams had a wide open layup, and then here comes Collins over to block it.
Damian Collins with 40 blocked shots on the season.
Yeah, they reset it to 29, or they reset it to 30 instead of 20.
So Wichita State has scored 13 of the last 15 points in this one. Off to a 5 for 8 start from the floor. Gray cut off by Niora. Now Giles, a hair trigger three again, too strong. Williams, boy, ultra aggressive. The hometown kid, TJ Williams, coming off the Shocker bench. Fans love that.
Well, that's what the Shockers do. They hit the offensive boards. They're one of the best in the country at offensive rebounding.
Giles tries again, fails again. Berg fouled, and we'll go to the free throw line.
I think they're going to call Nelson on a foul there. Good second effort by Will Berg.
Berg was a beast on the glass in Tampa the first time around.
15 rebounds down at Tampa against the Bulls, and 8 offensive rebounds. A couple of them were really big late in that ball game.
Wichita State with the only 3 offensive rebounds of the night so far. Berg, a little over 8 points and right at 8 rebounds per game. 34 blocks for the transfer from Purdue. Dre Kendall in for Wichita State. Devin Hade checks in for the Bulls.
This is one thing the Shockers have not been doing a good job of, and that's making free throws. They've been subpar in quite a few of the recent ball games.
And even in the win against Tulane, they were barely above 50% down in New Orleans on Sunday. Enos had it knocked away. It goes to the deck. This is going to be tied up, and it's going to stay on this end. But active Wichita State hands defensively so far, Bob. There's been 3 USF turnovers already.
Well, you didn't see it in the replay there, but T.J. Williams dropped off the corner guy and got his hand on that ball and poked it free. It's going to be USF ball underneath their basket.
Niora only played 4 minutes against Tulsa, so there's a couple of USF subs that are in here early on. Niora and Hightower's already been in. A buzzer-beating 3 is good by Devin Hade.
Are you kidding me? What a heck of a shot by Hade. That was deep and late in the clock.
Devin Hade, 14 points shy of 1,000 in his career. Heading into the game, that was something.
That's only his 11th 3 all season long. He doesn't get up a lot of them.
That was a bomb, and the Bulls needed that. Good job by Isaiah Nelson coming around Will Berg, and Giles, kind of a victim of circumstance there, ran over Isaiah Nelson trying to hunt down that loose ball in backcourt.
Well, that's probably the only time you'll say this all season. Giles ran over Nelson. Nelson's a big guy. He doesn't get run over very often.
So Niora will check right back out. Omajafo in for the Bulls. 7 minutes into the opening half. Colossal tilt here in the American. And there's a reverse by Isaiah Nelson. He's their team's leading scorer. He's had 25 points back-to-back games,
yeah,
Nelson.
That was a really nice dish by Enos that time. Got in there deep and then found his buddy Nelson for the easy one.
Berg and Nelson fighting tooth and nail down there inside the paint. Shockers think better of entering the post. Kendall had some big moments against the Bulls in Tampa, and Berg with an opportunity at a three-point play. He was tackled and still got the ball above his shoulders and could finish.
Yeah, I have to give Ashton, the strength coach, a little credit on that one. That was a weight room bucket here. Watch him. He just takes the defender right up with him and puts him in the basket. Was that Hade? I think that was Hade coming over there to help.
Hade giving up about 7 inches to Will Berg. So Berg now with 4 points and 2 rebounds off the Shocker bench. And finally finds the range from the free throw line. So a 3-point opportunity is converted by Will Berg. And losing the handle was Wes Enos. Wasn't really a much conviction on the pass. I think he bobbled it coming up. Now Giles trying to make him pay with a long 3. That misfires. Kenyon Giles now 1 out of 5 from long range.
Yeah, be careful of running and gunning with the Bulls. That's their ball game. They like to play a really fast tempo, faster than the Shockers normally play.
C.J. Brown's first 2. Yeah, the Bulls have the league's best in 8 different categories, and almost all of them are offensive. Will Berg hits the deck, and they're going to call a...
He was pulled down.
Travel, yeah.
I thought Berg got
confusion on
what grabbed around
there.
the shoulder. Watch. Let's see if we see this on the replay.
We'll sort it out when we come back. first-year head coach Brian Hodson at the helm of USF. He is a Nate Oates disciple. Came from University of Alabama after time there, and prior to that, they really built something at Buffalo in the MAC. But this is Hodson's program, and it looks an awful lot like a Nate Oates coach team. Lots and lots of points.
Oh yeah, I think he picked up, definitely picked up the analytics from Nate Oates. Run the ball, either shoot layups or shoot threes. Not a lot of mid-range shots. They play a lot like Alabama.
So we get to the bottom of this. The official, Michael Wallace, pointed the wrong direction. It was a foul on Brown for USF, and he mistakenly pointed toward USF bucket. And so that's been cleared up. It was a foul on USF. Wichita State, obviously, with a possession here. And now Pinion and Boyd are getting acquainted with one another. It's going to be Joseph Pinion's first foul and the sixth team foul on USF.
Well, you mentioned it in the opening that Pinion's kind of his guy that does everything, you know, hits threes, a lot of assists, and now he's guarding probably the hottest guy on the Shockers right now.
Boyd working on him, can't get him off his feet. Good job by Pinion to guard without fouling. Now Berg just off the left block, and it's poked away and stolen by Isaiah Jones into the ball game now.
Yeah, good job by Jones coming over and stealing that dribble.
Jones for three, wouldn't go. And Wichita State, at least to this point, is keeping USF off the offensive glass. They're the class of the league in offensive rebounding, and the Shockers not far behind. Giles got loose from Isaiah Nelson, couldn't hit, and Wichita State with another offensive rebound.
Somebody had a hold of Will Berg's jersey, pulled it out. That was what the crowd was screaming about.
Boyd, after the double team on Berg, can't hit. Berg taps it to himself, but the Bulls, Jones comes away with it.
Shockers getting a couple of good looks that time by Giles and by Boyd, but couldn't find the mark. Another turnover by the Bulls.
Giles with his second steal here in the early going. Wichita State's missed its last four, but still hanging on to a 5-point lead. Into the corner for a Kindle three. That wouldn't go. Isaiah Nelson with a rebound for the Bulls, his third.
Well, all of a sudden, neither team can make a shot.
And Berg
Wow.
comes up with a loose ball.
Another turnover. That was Oma Jaffe just mishandled that one.
Williams with a layup.
Wow.
TJ Williams only had 4 points against Tulane the last time out.
DJ high flyer on that one. Went right up over the top of Jones to lay that over the rim. Uh-oh, that's going to be Giles' second foul there.
Got tangled up with Wes Enos and will be whistled for the foul. Okorafor and Gray check in for Wichita State. The left side of your screen there, Giles. That's the second time Giles has basically run over a Bull. This time, a guy a little more close to his own size.
Well, he was trying to stick close to Wes Enos because he saw that he was going to come off that screen and he wanted to, they call it lock and trail, and he was locked up a little bit too tightly and got the foul.
14 foul on Wichita State here in the half. Nelson almost lost it, waiting for a cutter. There comes Oma Jaffe, and he lays it in, and a foul. Oma Jaffe doing what he does, and that's get to the free throw line where he shoots 78%. Got an opportunity at a three-point play.
Yeah, I got a half step on Boyd. Not much of a foul there. It was a slight bump.
Oma Jaffe, first time around against Wichita State, 17 points and 8 rebounds. He made 12 free throws.
12 out of 16.
Wow.
He just kept getting to the line, especially in the second half. He would drive and get to the free throw line, and he just did that over and over again. Shockers could not stop him without fouling. He's a really good free throw shooter.
Oma Jaffe on the year, 12 points, 5 rebounds, but as Bob mentioned, and as he just showed, excellent foul shooter. Midway point of the first half. Wichita State has led virtually throughout. Now there's a steal by Pinion. Up ahead to Enos. And he lays it in, and he's fouled. back-to-back three-point opportunities for USF, and the Bulls are back in it.
Yeah, lefty on lefty. Enos goes in, goes right at Williams. Here again, not much of a foul, a slight contact. Normally they let those go, especially when the ball goes in. But a nice drive and a nice finish by Mr. Enos.
So after a cool start, the Bulls have hit 6 of their last 7. And Enos converts. That's his first 3 to go with Omajafo's first 3. And the Bulls were within 1 now.
As we said, they like to push it up and attack the rim. They either try to attack the rim or shoot threes.
Boyd working on Pinion again. Gray quickly covered up. Long 2, no good. Shockers have gone cold, and the Bulls have an opportunity to take their first lead since 2-0. That's a 3 from Nelson and wouldn't go. Isaiah Nelson has only made 6 all year.
He made one against the Shockers from the corner down there in Tampa. Boy, the Shockers have gotten some wide open looks, but they just can't convert.
And Enos didn't really box off Michael Gray.
Crowd wants Okorafor to shoot the basketball.
And another steal.
That might be a charge that time.
Michael Gray took the brunt of it. That is an offensive foul, so it'll go back to Wichita State.
Boy, you can see the power of Enos right there. He just took Michael Gray right off of his feet.
It's the 7th turnover here in the first 11.5 minutes by USF. Brian Amunique checks in for Wichita State. Isaiah Jones, Damian Collins back in for USF. And now Jones sits down.
The guy that just fouled Wes Enos, last 4 ball games, just under 20 points a game. I mean, he has really picked up his scoring for Coach Hodson.
Tristan Beckford in there for the first time for USF. So Coach Hodson going to the bench early and often here in the first 12 minutes. Kendall to Batee. Trying to create some room. He got it to Berg. And jump ball. We go to Wichita State and then we come back. So it's got a little bit ragged here in the last 3 or 4 minutes, but it's a close one here in Wichita. Well, you should never give up on a Wichita State game this year. They've taken their fans on a real ride, dating back to the pre-conference when they led big against DePaul here, dropped that game. In their conference opener, they were down big to UAB, ended up winning by 5. And then that wild one at Charlotte, where the Shockers led early in the second half by 18. And the one in Tampa, boy, you talk about a roller coaster ride. It was the emotions were going up and down before Wichita State finally won it by 1.
Yeah, they led by 15 in the first half, then trailed by 13 in the second half. They went to overtime. There were 6 lead changes in the 5-minute overtime. That was a heck of a ball game and a great win for Wichita State down there in Tampa.
Shaping up that way here, at least in the first 12 minutes of this one tonight.
Two of the Bulls' 3 losses have been at home. UAB in double overtime and Wichita State in 1 overtime.
4 seconds to shoot for Wichita State, so Berg needs some help. Amunique to beat the buzzer, in and out. Wichita State now 1 for 10 from 3-point range.
And they're 4 for their last 16 shots in the last little over 8 minutes of play.
Pinion, a little teardrop off the heel. Berg's doing a good job on the boards tonight for Wichita State. That's rebound number 5 for him. Giles forces and hits. Boy, a bad shot for others is just okay for him.
Yeah, he's got that shot down, especially over on the right side of the court where he gets his body into the defender, then takes a step back, fades away, and knocks down that shot. Ooh, there's a tough screen by Collins.
Pinion got loose for an open 3, and Wichita State fouls on the rebound as the Bulls trying like crazy to get that first offensive rebound for them. They have gone nearly 13 minutes without one.
Yeah, that foul was on Michael Gray. He came in there.
Both teams in the bonus now, and to the free throw line, Damian Collins for the Bulls. 67% foul shooter on the year. USF has 5 different guys that get to the line a lot and make 75% or more. So it's no wonder they're 16-8 on the year. You foul them, it's bad news. Again, 21 makes per game, that's tops, and 28 attempts per game, also tops in the country.
Well, they've got a number of really good three-point shooters, so they spread you out defensively, and then they attack the basket.
Giles had 3 people going for that fake. Berg hooks it in. Will Berg has 7 points.
You can hear the Shocker crowd urging him to shoot it. Shoot it. Got that little jump hook to fall.
Berg's 3 for 3 from the floor now. Niora back in there working on Gray. Had it poked away by Amunique. Amunique one-on-one with Enos. Followed by Gray. Gray didn't give up on that play and tipped it in.
Yeah, Collins was just looking to block that one. He didn't get a hand on it, but forced the miss. But good hustle by Michael Gray to tip that one in.
3 straight away, offline, and a whistle and a foul as Beckford made his way in there to get an offensive rebound. Well, they're getting some contributions from some guys that didn't do much against Tulsa. Beckford only played 5 minutes against the Hurricane. Hightower's already been in there. He only played 1 minute. And Devin Hade has hit a 3-pointer. He only played 11 minutes against Tulsa. So,
yeah, I got Beckford. He only averages 2 minutes a game in conference play, so he's getting some good minutes here. That was a nice rebound by the young man.
Hade, I should say, back in there.
He's a true freshman, Tristan Beckford, 6'5".
75% foul shooter on limited tries. So he gets his first point. And Niora has kind of yo-yoed in and out of the 5 on the floor through the first 13-plus minutes.
Well, you'll see a lot of coaches go deep into their benches, especially this time of the season, because you're playing 2 to 3 games a week and doing a lot of traveling, so you got to try to keep your guys fresh.
Will Berg has corralled his 6th rebound already, so there's 21 rebounds in the 2 games between the 2 clubs. Turnover by Wichita State.
Yeah, great.
And Enos threw it right back.
Gray and Berg weren't on the same page down on that end. And then on the Bulls end, that pass was way behind Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, that's Enos' 4th turnover so far. 9 overall. Bulls crawled within one and had a couple of possessions try to take a lead. Weren't able to do it. Now the Shockers inching out to a 5-point lead. Late in the shot clock, Batee fakes a man off his feet. Missed the bunny. Enos back the other way for the Bulls.
Oh, a nice drive by Dylan Batee, but just couldn't finish it at the hoop.
Enos found a lane to the bucket and laid it in.
Man, he is aggressive on that offensive end. He just takes it at the hoop. Good drive by Enos.
Enos has 5 games in a row where he's had 15 points and at least 1 steal. Gray elevates for 3. Wichita State ice cold from long range. They've only made 1. And that's going to be another Bulls turnover as Enos lost it for the 5th time here in the first half.
Well, he's got to know when to go and when not to go. And that time, he had a defender right in front of him and tried to go through Amunique. And going to have to be just a little bit more selective.
Enos has only turned it over 32 times in over 700 minutes of action this year, and 5 turnovers committed by Enos in 15 minutes.
You know, they keep looking inside to Will Berg, but Bulls are doing a good job of helping.
And that's about the 3rd time 7-2 Will Berg has found himself on the floor. A really good look by Dylan Batee to try to set him up. He drew Nelson.
Watch Pinion come in here. He gets him across the arms, and Berg goes down hard. That's 7'2", 260-pound Will Berg from Stockholm, Sweden.
Pinion's second personal. Berg is 1 for 3 from the free throw line. He's got 7 points and 6 rebounds off the Shocker bench tonight.
He's a resident cook for Wichita State basketball. Told me he wants to be a chef when he gets done with playing basketball in college and professionally.
Isaiah Jones back in. Also, Omajafo checks back in for the Bulls. And Berg knocks down both free throws. So he's off to a good start, and he hears it from the crowd as he takes a seat.
Yeah, he gets a big hand from the Wichita State crowd. He's been battling on the boards. And like you said, he's hit the deck 2 or 3 times pretty hard.
Here comes Gavin Hightower, the freshman from Los Angeles, across the timeline, all the way to the bucket, and he challenges Okorafor and spins it in.
Yeah, boy, right at him. That's a freshman right there, ladies and gentlemen, taking it right at the big fella.
Hightower only averages 3 a game and barely played in the last one. Amunique. Boyd. Shockers got a lid on the basket from 3-point range. They're now 1 for 12.
Well, I've been impressed by the defense of USF. They're doing a great job of helping and recovering when it looks like somebody's open, a postman or somebody driving to the basket. They really help off defensively and jam things up and make you kick it off. They're really doing a nice job with their man-to-man defense.
Wichita State's okay from inside the arc, but outside the 3-point line, only 1 make.
Yeah, 37% for Wichita State from the field.
Loose ball picked up by Amunique. A foot race to the other end. And a foul as Amunique will earn a trip to the free throw line. We got a timeout on the floor. Brian Amunique will get free throws when we come back. USF, as we mentioned, can really fill it up. They've scored 90 points or more 13 times, and they've topped 105 times. And they've beaten 5 opponents by 20 or more points on the year. It is more times than not an avalanche of points. So far, both of these teams playing like a couple of defensive-minded clubs, and they're both playing like first place is on the line, which it is.
Yeah, neither team can make a 3, though. Shockers are 1 for 12, and the Bulls are 1 for 6. Really horrible three-point shooting by both teams so far.
Brian Emunique shooting a rare free throw. He had 6 points in the win against Tulane on Super Bowl Sunday. Normally a three-point sniper, shoots 37% from long range.
Yeah, 2 for 4 from 3 in the win at Tulane in New Orleans. A nice job of coming in and helping the Shockers. There's another drive to the basket. That one just couldn't quite finish it.
Hightower's not bashful.
No, he sure isn't. Very aggressive, very confident.
Battie spins in the lane and had it roll off the rim. Shockers got a hand or two on the offensive rebound try, but the Bulls come away with it, trailing by 4.
Yeah, Battie just needs to slow down just a little bit and get on balance when he's making those shots. He's moving a little bit too fast. There's
Nelson
big
with
guy.
a flush.
He's doing a good job of keeping him away from the basket, but that time he popped wide open. Miscommunication by Shockers on defense, and Nelson knows what to do with it when he gets that close to the basket. He's coming off 2 25-point ball games. Oh, that's just a horrible pass by Michael Gray. Berg wasn't even looking at him.
Even if he was, he probably wasn't going to come up with that. There goes Nelson streaking down the lane. Gray had to come over and pick him up. Haid set shot 3 straight away off the heel. Wichita State caught a break. They were individually, a couple of them out of position. Got away with it.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like the Bulls are playing with a 20-second shot clock. They don't like to hold the ball very long. Somebody's going to put it up pretty quickly.
Boyd has been quiet in the first half. Emunique, a step back 3. Berg keeps it alive. Another rebound for Will Berg. Gray for 3.
Hey, there we go. Michael Gray says, finally.
He had been ice cold from 3 in his last 4 ball games. Only made 2 combined in the 4 games.
Yeah, he hit 3 against the Bulls down in Tampa. He shot really well that game, but he's been struggling here lately.
Hightower turns the corner, left it short. Berg with his 9th rebound.
Hightower doesn't play like a freshman, does he?
Not at all.
Just gets after it.
Emunique got Devin Haid up on his tiptoes. And Nelson finally walls off Berg and gets the rebound. Hightower has really been ultra aggressive in his minutes here in the first half. And he throws it away. Battie in a foot race, had it poked away, and it's going to be a foul on Isaiah Jones. Free throws coming up for Dylan Battie.
Well, I talked about the Bulls and how well they're playing defense and how well they're rebounding, but man, they've got to learn to take care of the ball. That's their 12th turnover, and we're still in the first half.
Still a minute left to go. Battie,
they average 11 a game. Sorry to interrupt you there, but that's a lot of turnovers.
No, that's worth interjecting. Already got their season average in turnovers in only 19 minutes of play. Shockers continue to scuffle at the free throw line. They're now 6 out of 11 here in the half.
Well, Dylan's dad played at Temple, was an outstanding player there, and his uncle was a 14-year NBA vet, one of the top draft picks in the NBA when he came out of college. But they're going to have to work on his free throw shooting in the offseason.
C.J. Brown checks back in with 2 fouls. He and Giles both have been saddled with foul problems here in the first half. But Brown is back in for the final minute. Quick three, left short. Boyd had it taken away from him. Omajafo wrestled it away from Karan Boyd. Nelson fouled going up. Isaiah Nelson wanted a goaltend on Wichita State, and finally USF got a flurry of offensive rebounds.
Yeah, that was a good offensive rebound by Isaiah Nelson. He came in there, snuck in there along the baseline, got inside of Will Berg. Got up there and got that basketball, and he's going to get rewarded with a couple of free throws.
That's Batti's second foul. Isaiah Nelson, 71% foul shooter.
He's got 16 double-doubles this year. Last two games we mentioned, 25 points in each of the last two games. And in total, those two games, 20 of 29 from the floor. I mean, high percentage shooting by this young man.
Well, Wichita State bottled him up in Tampa about a month ago. He only had 7 points.
Right.
And he splits a pair at the line. So the Shocker lead is 5. And Michael Gray Jr. wants a timeout. So a use it or lose it timeout for Paul Mills with a little over 31 seconds left to go. We are in the home stretch in college basketball when it comes to sprinting to the finish line and jockeying for position in everyone's respective conferences. Of course, at the very top here, USF and Wichita State duking it out. But you see highlighted there UNT, East Carolina, and UTSA all trying to scramble and make sure they're not 11, 12, or 13. They want to go to Birmingham.
Yeah, you don't want to be one of those bottom three, so you know those people are desperate. Those teams are desperate to win some ball games and so they can qualify for the conference tournament. But I tell you, USF had a really nice win Sunday and beat Tulsa at home to move into a tie for first place. So interesting up there at the top. If you're one of the top two teams at the conference tournament, you move right into the semifinals. You're playing Saturday in the semifinals if you're one of the top two teams. And if you're one of the top four teams, you play on Friday. So you move right into the quarterfinals. So really advantageous to be in the top two or the top four.
So about a 5-second differential between the shot and game clock here in the first half and the dwindling seconds. Both teams have cooled considerably. This has been a defensive struggle, and who would have thought that? Giles is back in there for Wichita State, playing with those 2 fouls. Gray's just been pounding it. He's got to make a play with 5 to shoot. Going to step back, fire 3. Off the heel, Batti saves. 5 left to go in the half. Giles with 3. He steps back, fires, and hits. Kenyon Giles, that's a long 2 according to Garrett Shannon. I'm sure they'll check it, but either way, Wichita State had quite a final possession there after that timeout.
What a way to go into halftime. Nice offensive rebound, and they got it to the right guy, Kenyon Giles, and he hit that fadeaway from the deep corner right in front of the USF bench. Look at it right there. Wow, what a tough shot.
Shockers led for 18 and a half minutes of that first half. We'll discuss when we come back. Well, on first blush, Bob, looks like a rock fight. Both these teams having a hard time making shots from three-point range, and if you would have told either coach that either you have one made three or you have two made threes, which is USF versus Wichita State, I think each coach would think we're in deep trouble. But the defense has come to save the day in the first 20 minutes for both, really.
Yeah, it's been a defensive game, and that's a surprise. We thought it would be an offensive game, a lot of running and gunning and knocking down threes, but not so. Wichita State came out of the gate making threes and got some points, but then all of a sudden they went stone cold, couldn't make anything.
Our first half highlights really will show more than anything that there was some issues with fouls. Giles, Battie, TJ Williams, they all picked up 2 personal fouls. But on the other side, CJ Brown for USF, he had 2 early fouls. Joseph Pinion had 2 fouls, and so did Devin Hay. But both teams played through it. The turnovers were an issue for USF, and I think that's the one thing you won't see here. That was one of the stories of the half.
Yeah, those won't be on the highlight reel. 12 turnovers for the Bulls, 7 turnovers for Wichita State. There's T.J. Williams coming in with the lefty floating, going in there. There's one of the made baskets by Kenyon Giles, a fadeaway jumper. Berg really crashed the boards a lot, made a couple of nice buckets inside, but he did most of his work on the boards. There's a nice follow by Michael Gray. You can see him celebrating. How about that guy right there? Enos, man, he was tough. He led him with 7 points, but they had 9 different guys that scored for them in the first half. So there was a team effort for the Bulls. There's Nelson, didn't score a lot, but he flushed that one down. Michael Gray finally hit a 3-pointer, and there's the last shot of the half right there. Kenyon Giles sticking it right in the heart of Coach Hodgson, right in front of the bench.
It was called a long 2. That's how it'll stay, and the Wichita State lead is 7 at the break. Wichita State led for most of this first 20 minutes in this titanic clash for the supremacy, at least to this point, of the American. WSU leading by 7 over USF. Their biggest lead was 9. The Dynamo Capital halftime stats, pretty telling, really. Shockers +5 on the glass. And not surprising, Wichita State has outscored the USF bench. Over 68 points per game is accounted for by the USF starters. But a couple of things that they are supreme at in the conference. USF struggled in the first half. They lead the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio. They only have 3 assists and 12 turnovers. They also are tops in the American in offensive rebounds. They only have 4 to 9 for Wichita State. Neither team shooting with a darn from three-point range. Bob and I talked about that just a little while ago. Shockers 2 out of 15, and USF is 1 for 8. Individually, Karan Boyd has not scored for Wichita State, and Joseph Pinion only has 2 for USF. 33-26, Wichita State with the lead. We will continue with the Ameritrust halftime show, give you some keys to the second half, some upcoming schedules, and much more here from Charles Koch Arena in Wichita on a big night in the American. Well, sometimes you hit on the players to watch, and sometimes you don't. Karan Boyd, 0 for 5 from the floor in the first half. Joseph Pinion, 1 for 4 in the first half. But then again, Bob, that's why it's a team sport. Other guys pick up the slack.
Hey, we got 20 more minutes to go.
That's true, we do.
You never know. All of a sudden, both teams could come out hot, be making all their shots. So you never know, especially when these two teams match up, because Bulls came in here, beat the Shockers last year, and then the Shockers went down there and beat them in Tampa. So you never know what's going to happen.
And, of course, that game in Tampa was a wild one all the way down to the wire, and leads changed hands. Teams got out big, although it doesn't feel like that either team is going to get out big on the other tonight. Shots aren't falling. Doesn't mean they won't, but the defense, I think, really has ruled today.
You can just tell by the intensity on defense and how the guys are crashing the boards how important this game is to both teams. The Bulls, they want to stay in first place. They just had a big win over Tulsa to get into first place. They want to stay there. The Shockers are trying to work their way up into the top 4 and be a factor in the conference race at the end. So both teams really want this win.
And they are still early in the first half in Tulsa, but Tulsa is trailing UAB by 4. Here's what South Florida's got next. A little bit of a gauntlet in 5 of their last 6. Memphis twice and a trip to Florida Atlantic in a rivalry game.
Yeah, they beat Florida Atlantic earlier, I believe. And they've got to go over there to Boca Raton. That's going to be a crazy atmosphere. And then Memphis, they're always hard to beat at home, and they're playing a little bit better right now.
Wichita State, they have 6 left, not pictured. Their home finale against Florida Atlantic. Here's what they have in the meantime: a huge rivalry game, Valentine's Day night at 6 o'clock right here on ESPN+.
How about this, playing both number 1 teams in the same week? Got South Florida tonight and Tulsa on Saturday night at 6 o'clock. So a couple of big games for Wichita State and Paul Mills this week.
Shockers trying to stay hot. They've won 5 of their last 6 and 20 minutes away from making a real statement after starting 1-2 in the conference. That just goes to show you, Bob, as a former coach, you know this, that the league season, it seems like it lasts forever. It goes by quick, but you need to take advantage, especially when you're at home. And Wichita State, for the most part, has done a good job defending their home floor.
Yeah, they have. The Rice game was kind of a hiccup, and Rice came in here and really put some defense on Wichita State and won that game. But other than that, they've been doing a really nice job with winning in the home court. But this is going to be a test this week. Number 1 USF tonight, number 1 Tulsa on Saturday night. So hopefully the home court will be good to Wichita State this week, and they can stay up where they are.
Keys to the second half. First for USF, they need to cut down on the turnovers. They turn it over 12 more times. It's going to be nearly impossible to win this game because you know the crowd will be into a frenzy in the final 20 minutes. And make somebody else besides Kenyon Giles beat him. He had to set for a while in the first half, but was pretty efficient when he was out there. 9 points, including that buzzer beater from the deep right corner. For Wichita State, there's a storm coming. This is one of the best teams in the country at scoring in the second half. USF averages about 46 points in second halves of games, and the Shockers need to continue to do a good job on the boards. They were +5 on the offensive glass. Need to keep it up in the second 20 minutes.
Well, and don't count on them shooting 1 for 8 in the second half from 3. The Bulls are going to find their range. They're going to hit better from 3-point in the second half. So Shockers can't let up defensively. And I think for USF, remember the John Wooden saying, be quick but don't hurry. You want to play fast and you want to push the ball, but don't force it and slow down just a little bit. I think a lot of their turnovers were caused by just rushing things.
And I think this bears repeating. This is the best assist-to-turnover ratio team in the American. They have 3 assists and 12 turnovers in the first 20 minutes against Wichita State. A testament to the Shockers' defense, but normally USF is much better than this at hanging on to the ball.
Yeah, they average only 11 turnovers a ball game over 40 minutes over their first 24 games, and tonight they've got 12, and the Shockers are good as well. 10 turnovers a game in their first 24 ball games. So a lot of character by both teams, all these turnovers.
2 players from each team with 2 fouls will start the second half on the floor, so that bears watching as well. Pinion wasting no time, and he nails one from the corner.
Well, he started the game with a runner, and that time it was a fadeaway 3 off a screen. Nice set play set up by Coach Hodson coming out of the halftime.
81 made threes for Joseph Pinion, his first one tonight. And a turnover, Nelson leading a 2-on-2. Hooks it around Okorafor, but there is Enos to grab the offensive rebound. And here come the Bulls.
Yeah, good hustle by USF following that Nelson miss and getting that ball in the basket.
First 5, beg your pardon, quickly out of the gates for USF. Gray against the bigger Nelson. Sees a back cutting Battie, and he flushes it in.
Nice back cut by Dylan Battie, and a good look by Michael Gray. Delivered the ball perfectly.
C.J. Brown was kind of quiet in that first half. 2 points, no assist for the floor general. Enos rejected by Okorafor. Shot clock still running. Enos for three. Offensive rebound. C.J. Brown skies for the rebound, and they're going to call a goaltend. Garrett Shannon said that was basket interference.
Well, I think Brian Hodson must have talked to their guys about winning the battle of the boards here in the second half, because they are going to the boards here. Man, aggressive rebounding by South Florida. 3
offensive rebounds already in the first minute and a half. Battie trying to get by Pinion, and Okorafor loses it. South Florida with a chance to tie or take the lead.
Looked like a pretty good pass. Looked like Battie hit him right in the hands. He just fumbled the basketball.
Pinion covered up by Gray, now goes to the bucket and left it short. Tried to draw some contact by Okorafor, and Okorafor did a good job of retreating. Giles out between the rings, looking for a high screen, gets one, gonna fire, and off the backboard, wouldn't go. Even though Giles has 9 points, pretty much all of his damage has been done from 2-point range. He's 3 of 3 in twos, but only has made 1 3.
Well, he's usually pretty deadly on that one out front. That was a wide open 3 there coming off that screen by Okorafor. South Florida didn't help up on it, so he had a really good look, but just missed it.
Will Berg checks in for Wichita State after a 9.9 rebound first half for Wichita State. On the glass, the Shockers currently +4.
Well, Will Berg was the difference in the first half, I thought, for Wichita State. He just ruled the backboards.
Karan Boyd wasn't able to get going for Wichita State offensively. He's scored in double figures in his last 7 games, but Boyd is scoreless here tonight after 5 shots.
Shockers have it out under, but not much time. Under 4 seconds, 3.7.
Battie gets loose, a rare 3, no good. Battie, that's not his game, but he didn't have much of a choice there.
No, that wouldn't be the first choice I'd make wanting to shoot that shot late in the shot clock.
Pinion was looking for Nelson, and a couple of Shocker hands got in there to force turnover number 13.
Well, don't force the ball where it won't go. If you see a lot of defenders, don't try to force that ball in there. That's a good battle here. Jafu and Boyd.
Gray gets loose for a 3 and hits in front of the Shocker bench. Michael Gray's second triple.
That's good news for Shocker fans. It's always good to have that second or third 3-point shooter. Wow, what a tough finish by Isaiah Nelson.
How about that for a degree of difficulty?
Man.
Nelson has 7 points. So an answer for the Bulls after Gray's triple. And a lob too tall for Berg, but he tipped it to himself. It was a near Shocker turnover. I don't know what Boyd thought Berg was going to do there.
Well, one of the Bulls fell down, so Berg really couldn't get to the ball because he would have just jumped right on top of the guy on the floor. There's a 3-pointer by Kenyon Giles. A 2? Okay.
Long 2. Long 2, they're going to say.
Long 2-pointer.
Giles now with 11, his first 2 of the half.
Both teams catching their breath here.
Nelson just holding it with 5 to shoot. Now he's going to go to work on Berg. And he hits. From both sides of the lane, Nelson has struck twice here in the half.
He didn't score much in the first half, but man, he is out of the box quickly here in the second half. Scoring on multiple trips.
Gray knifes through the defense, finds Battie, and he flushes it in with the right hand.
Whoa!
Crowd comes alive in Wichita.
Man, he got some hang time on that one, didn't he, Shane?
And the ball goes to the deck. Giles couldn't come up with it. Right side set shot 3 is good.
Oma Jaffo, he's going to pick up the scoring here in the second half, it looks like.
Gray to answer off the side of the iron and out of bounds. So an up and down second half has seen Wichita State inch out to a 2-point lead.
Everyone can do it. You have to be bold to be at the top, to be one of America's leading research universities, to generate an annual economic impact of $6 billion, and to be 20 NCAA Division I teams strong. Without a shadow of a doubt, the Bulls' impact on Tampa Bay is boundless. Be bold.
Back here at Charles Koch Arena, Shane Dennis, Bob Hall with you here courtside. Clash of the Titans here in Wichita tonight as the Shockers have led for all but 33 seconds of this one. USF got the first bucket of the game. They haven't led since.
Well, things are loosening up a little bit on the offensive end, both ends. The Bulls 55% so far here in the second half, hit 2 out of 3 threes. They only had 1 the whole first half. 57% for the Shockers, so both teams playing a little bit better offensively.
Gavin Hightower, the Energizer Bunny in the first half, is back out there for the Bulls. Pinion, a catch-and-shoot 3 wouldn't go. T.J. Williams and Michael Gray collide, but Williams collects the rebound for Wichita State. Boyd, Pinion has done a good job on Karan Boyd. Pinion giving up about, 15 or 20 pounds to Boyd, but Pinion showing his versatility.
He's tough. I thought he played really good defense down in Tampa, and he did a lot of good things in that Tulsa game Sunday. He's a tough character. He came with Coach Hodson. He and Nelson both were at Arkansas State last year with Coach and came with him.
Berg, a little 8-footer wouldn't go.
Looks like the play they ran at the end of regulation with 1 second to go down in Tampa.
Berg's first miss tonight. Now T.J. Williams guarding Pinion. Boy, nothing much has come easy for either team tonight. There's a 3 knocked down by Wes Enos. Enos has had 2 games this year where he's made 10 threes in a single game. That's his first one tonight. And the Bulls' first lead since real early. Giles to answer. Kenyon Giles' second triple.
Yeah, it could be a 3-point shooting contest with Giles and Enos. Both of those guys can light it up.
Shockers retake the lead back. 6.5 minutes into the second half. Step back 3 by Collins, spins out, wouldn't stay down. Giles with 14 points for Wichita State, 5 in this half. Covered up by Enos after he picked up his dribble. Got in a little bit of trouble there, but Gray bailed him out.
South Florida really squeezes their defense when Wichita State drives into the lane. They've got 2 or 3 guys all around the basketball.
Williams had it knocked away, going up for the offensive rebound and putback. Crowd wanted a foul, none came. Bulls have a chance to tie it up or better. Offensive rebound, weak side by Collins. Jaffo for another line drive 3. This one wouldn't go. Pinion with the offensive rebound, and it's going to get waved off. Foul on Pinion. That's going to be his third.
I was just getting ready to say he got away with a shove on Michael Gray to get this rebound. You'll see it there on the replay. Put his arm on his shoulder, but the referee along the baseline spotted that one. I think that was Patrick Evans spotting that foul down there on the baseline. Pinion's crafty. He knows how to get open. He knows how to get rebounds. That time he got caught, though.
Drake Kendall into the game for Wichita State, number 3 in white. Batty dribbles into a double team.
Yeah, you get that ball near the basket, they're going to have 2-3 guys on you.
Giles leans in for another 3.
You better stay close to that guy right there.
That was one of our keys, but he's going crazy here in the second half.
Don't let him get heated up.
Berg swats it out of bounds after Pinion got by Giles.
Well, he's over there complaining to the referee, but it can't be on that block because that was well out of his hands. Let's watch this. Maybe a little foul there on Giles as he went up, but wow, what a block by big Will Berg.
Oh, a dead, point blank, dead layup. Wes Enos just clanked it.
He thought about shooting that one, but
not for very long. Boyd wants a right side 3.
There's a guy that's been hot from 3. 40% in the last 6 games. Karan Boyd, he's been shooting them really well.
Another double-figure rebound for Will Berg. He has terrorized the Bulls off the glass. Nelson with a rebound for USF. Bulls in a hurry back the other way.
When are they not?
Good point.
They push it.
Nelson bulling in on Berg, and he's going to get the call. We'll have free throws when we come back, but the three-pointers are starting to come faster and more furious here in the second half in Wichita. There's head coach Paul Mills. Shockers winners of 5 of their last 6, and that streak started in Tampa back on January the 18th. Only lost to Tulsa, and they'll get their chance at revenge Saturday night. But first things first, Paul Mills has his club up 5 with USF shooting some free throws.
Yeah, he had 15 wins in his first year at Wichita State, 19 wins in an NIT bid last year, his second year, and now already 15 wins here in his third season. I got to think they're going to get above 19 wins this year and maybe be up there fighting for the league title.
Well, a win here tonight would go a long way in determining that.
Yeah, this week is going to, both these games are going to be big.
Isaiah Nelson with 10 points, now making 11 and 6 rebounds for USF. 25-10, as Bob told you earlier in the win against Tulsa. Karan Boyd still scoreless in this one. A bullet pass by Kendall. He saw Berg flashing open, but
yeah, Berg was open, but he lost his balance and was falling backwards when that ball was passed in there. It was not too bad a pass.
Soft little touch for Devin Hade, his second bucket of the night, and the Bulls come right back to close the lead of Wichita State to 1.
They're getting some good contributions off their bench.
And normally they're a starter-heavy scoring team. Berg in a wrestling match down low. And now they're going to call a foul on Will Berg. That's his second, both of the half. And USF has yet another chance to take a lead.
Yeah, that was a good call. That was a good call. He got a little too aggressive on Damian Collins. Collins had a hold of that basketball. And Berg fouled it. Berg got that rebound, but he was right underneath the basket and couldn't figure out a way to get it up in the basket.
Each team with 2 team fouls in the half. Brown still looking for his first assist, and Enos nice to the basket and lays it in.
Yeah, they're running a lot of nice sets to get Enos open. He's coming off ball screens at the top. You saw him curl over a ball screen up high that time and head right down towards the basket.
Enos with 14. Bulls do retake the lead on a 6-0 run over the last minute plus. Giles, a tough shot, and good defense by the Bulls that time to bother the shot of Kenyon Giles. Enos for 3.
Oh, you better find him. That guy gets a dead-eye shooter. Good rebound by Nelson.
Much better job on the offensive glass in this half by the Bulls. Enos plays through contact, can't finish, but T tied up. It'll go to Wichita State.
Well, it was a nice rebound by Dylan Batee, but he tried to dribble in the crowd. He probably should have just held it and let things clear out a little bit, but Shockers going to retain the basketball with the possession arrow being in their direction.
Shockers have misfired on their last 5 shots from the floor, and they have fallen below 40% from the field. Both teams much poorer from the field than their season averages. And again, the defenses have had a lot to say about that. Ten to shoot for the Shockers. Stolen away by Nelson. And that's going to be a foul on Wichita State. Nelson just kind of hanging around. He now has 6 steals.
Well, he had his hands on the ball, but then he kind of ran over Michael Gray. I think it's on Nelson.
I think you're right. Okay, that was a foul on
Nelson. He was pleading his case to referee Patrick Evans over by the Shocker bench, but
Isaiah Nelson is 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 steals. The Bulls have 11 as a team. All of the Shocker turnovers have been a result of a Bull steal. Gray gets all the way to the cup, and a prayer unanswered, but there's Berg again, and a whistle and a foul. Will Berg's 12th offensive rebound.
I think Ray just threw it up there, hoping that Berg would get the rebound. It was kind of a prayer for a shot, but the shot clock was winding down. Threw it way high up off the backboard. Nice board, but probably not going to get away with a dribble in that crowd.
12 rebounds, not all of them offensive. Half of them, though, have been. Again, he is just terrorizing USF on the glass in the 2 games between the 2 clubs. That's now 27 rebounds for Berg against the Bulls this year.
Well, we mentioned his 15 rebounds down at South Florida, 8 offensive rebounds. He's got 5 double-doubles himself, had 10 points, 10 rebounds at Memphis, or against Memphis here.
And he's got one here tonight with that free throw. Okorafor will replace him. Williams in for Wichita State. This is just the second tie of the game. Enos skips around a high ball screen, working his way in, spins it out. And there's a wrestling match, and that'll be a tie ball. It'll stay with USF. Pinion's going to come back in for the Bulls with 3 fouls.
Enos is a powerful guy. He just put his shoulder into Michael Gray, and he went flying backwards on that shot attempt. He is determined to get to the basket.
So Pinion and Brown are both out there with 3 fouls for USF, and Okorafor immediately picks up his first. It's going to be 2 shots upcoming for the Bulls. So far, Wichita State has avoided the pitfall that is fouling USF. They're the best team in the country at getting the line and knocking them down. So far, Bulls a pedestrian 7 of 11. Nelson is individually 3 of 5.
You can see why they get to the free throw line a lot, Shane. A lot of their shots, they're going hard to the basket. Even on a play like that, an out-of-bounds play, they're catching and going hard to the basket.
And they already have twice as many offensive rebounds in this half as they did in the entire first half.
They definitely came out determined to win the battle of boards here in the second 20 minutes. Shockers having a hard time getting open looks down on this end.
Giles drops down to Williams, to Okorafor. Bulls survived initially. That's off the side of the backboard. And a really good defensive possession for South Florida there. Enos with an errant pass, and it goes out of bounds. The USF bench thinks that Wichita State touched it, and Brian Hodson says
they got an assistant coach looking
at
their pad to see, not quick enough.
Guess not. They wanted to take a look, but we will play on. Under 8 left in regulation. Bulls have only made 2 of their last 10. The Shockers 1 of their last 9. Okorafor on the much smaller Pinion, and he drew a double team, and it was knocked away from him.
Well, Okorafor, when he gets that ball inside, he's got to make a quicker decision. He's taking too long to shoot the basketball. Another foul as the Bulls drive to the basket. They've given the Shockers a steady diet of driving to the hoops, and that's why they're going to the free throw line.
It's been very fluid over the last couple of weeks, but Joe Lenardi in his bracketology updated yesterday morning has USF as the bid out of the NCAA tournament. They are a 12 seed, according to Joe Lenardi. It was Tulsa for the last couple of bracketologies, but with the Golden Hurricane most recent loss and USF beating Tulsa, they flip-flopped spots. Of course, a long, long way to go, and anything can happen in the conference tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing conference tournament in Birmingham because there's a lot of balance, especially in the upper half of this league. Just about everybody can knock off anybody else.
Brown been pretty quiet offensively tonight. CJ with 3 points and 9 off his season's average.
Well, both teams playing really, really good man-to-man defense. It's hard to get an open shot, especially down this end for Wichita State. And they're just 20% from three-point in this ball game.
Michael Gray quietly working on a double-double. He's got 9 rebounds and a foul on USF. That'll be their 5th of the half.
Well, as I mentioned, when you get close to the basket, they're swarming the guy with the ball. That time, 2 defenders on Karan Boyd. He was trying to get the ball over to Dylan Battie, who was cutting down the lane, but was fouled as he made the passing effort.
That's 4 fouls now on C.J. Brown. You saw the graphic there. And they're double checking to see who the foul was actually on. Brown had 14 points and 8 assists in that win against Tulsa, 80-74. So Brown will come out with those 4 fouls. Pinion is still out there for the Bulls. He's got 3. Berg gets his man in the air and couldn't knock it down, and Boyd couldn't collect the rebound.
Well, it was a nice out-of-bounds play, and Berg made a nice shot fake that got Nelson up in the air, but he just couldn't get the ball in the bucket. Something I've been saying a lot here in the second half for Wichita State.
Berg has missed his last 4 from the floor after making his first 3. Giles pokes it away from Enos, and a cold-blooded 3 wouldn't go down. A one-on-one three-pointer by Giles.
Yeah, he wanted to add insult to injury there. He had 4 steals in the game down in Tampa. He had a huge steal at the end of the ball game to win it for Wichita State.
Shockers have missed their last 11 from the floor. Pinion hits. Joseph Pinion's second 3, and the Bulls have their biggest lead of the night.
Yeah, he hit a 3 just coming out of the first shot of the second half, and now a second one.
Gray, a wide open 3 to answer off the heel. Shockers have hit more in the second half, but overall they've struggled. They are 5 for 27 from distance. It's only 19%. Now the Bulls trying to get a little traction. Under 6 to go. Pinion curling around the screen, kept his dribble alive, and Giles picked his pocket again.
Boy, Giles has got some quick hands, let me tell you.
That's his 4th steal, and Pinion picks up his 4th.
Yeah, kind of a silly foul there by Pinion. That ball went in the basket. Giles just threw it up one-handed as he was going out of bounds, but yeah, Pinion, that was a frustration call, a frustration foul there. He got picked at the other end. There's just no way you can try to block a guy that way right in front of the referees out front.
Well, and whether it was a foul or not, the fact that Pinion was that close to Giles 40 feet from the basket, you're kind of asking for trouble.
Yeah, he was just frustrated from getting the ball picked, but Coach Hodgson trying to calm him down. They've been together for a number of years now at Arkansas State, and now here, South Florida.
Brown and Pinion both have 4 fouls. But Wichita State's got some work to do if they want to make it pay off. Giles hits again. Kenyon Giles' 4th three-pointer. And here come the Shockers back. Giles has 20.
Here come the Shocker fans as well.
Hightower couldn't get around.
Nice.
Layup is good by Enos. A great look by Isaiah Nelson.
Yeah, Michael Gray got leaning too far to the outside, and it was a nice back cut by Enos to get himself open for a wide open layup. Haven't been a lot of those here in the second half, wide open layups.
And Berg had it knocked out of his hands. I think that was Nelson again. So USF, again, has a chance to make a little bit of a statement here. Up 4 with the ball with 4.5 left.
They've been running some nice sets here in the second half. Oh, there's another turnover. Just overhandling a little bit. Hightower just lost the handle.
17 Bulls turnovers.
It's another freshman. Hightower's a true freshman out of Los Angeles.
So Hightower with a steal, but then turned it right back over. Shockers only 1 bucket in their last 13 attempts, and that was Giles' 3.
They're sticking close to Kenyon Giles.
Steps through, left it way short, and it's going to go out of bounds to USF with just over 4 minutes left to go in regulation.
Well, he got switched off, but it was a nice play by Isaiah Jones, a 6'7" transfer from Oakland. Did a nice job of making Kenyon Giles alter his shot.
Wichita State is shooting 33% from the floor tonight. What a job by USF. Another chance to take its biggest lead, USF. Hightower going downhill and draws a foul. It's a foul on Karan Boyd. That's his second. Kenyon coming alive before he picked up his 4th personal, and Giles has hit 4 triples in return. Well, there's one other final, or only one final, I should say. ECU has beaten UTSA. So the Pirates keep hope alive. With 14:51 left to go, Tulsa is trailing by 11 against UAB. And Florida Atlantic is trailing by 15 against Rice in Houston. And Temple is down 17 to Tulane. So you try to figure that out tonight.
Like I said, a lot of balance in this league. But it's a big game for these two teams out here tonight, here in this building, because USF, they want to try to pay the Shockers back for that loss they got on their home court a few weeks ago, and they've got to go to Florida Atlantic in their next ball game. the Shockers, they got to try to protect their home court. And they've got Tulsa coming in here Saturday, so 2 tough games.
Hightower splits a pair at the line. He's got 3 points. C.J. Brown will check back in. It's go time for both teams now, regardless of who has how many fouls. Brown with 4, checking back in.
Hightower is playing really well. He's only averaging 3 minutes a game in conference play. Oh my gosh, Shockers just lost the ball out of bounds there.
So USF with a chance to really tighten the screws with a bucket on this trip.
Majaffa was pressuring Karan Boyd there on the sideline, and Boyd mishandled it and dropped it out of bounds.
Here comes Pinion back in with his 4 fouls. But again, you throw caution to the wind when it's 3:30 left to go in a 2-possession game.
Yeah, that's a big possession right here. Bulls are up 5. They could go up 7 or 8.
A back cut, and they're going to call a hold on Giles. It's Kenyon Giles' 3rd foul.
Only the Shockers' 6th, so it's going to be a common foul. They're going to get the ball out of bounds. Next foul for either team is they're going to start shooting one-on-ones.
And free throws really have not been a factor in this one for either team.
That's a big defensive stand for Wichita State. They need to get a stop here.
And it looked like they did. Nelson turned it over. Berg poked it away, and that was last touched by 35.
Yeah, he was isolated on Berg and wanted to go one-on-one. They lost the basketball. They were trying to sub a guy in, but they didn't get the Shockers inbounded the ball before the young man got subbed in.
Williams cut off by Pinion, lost it on the deck. The arrow favors Wichita State, and they'll keep it before USF was able to call a timeout.
Well, the Shockers have got to learn, the closer they get to the basket, the more black and green jerseys they're going to see in there. Good hands by Nelson, slapping that ball away from T.J. Williams.
Battie will check back in, but the Shockers are on a long scoring drought. They've only made 1 of their last 14 shots from the floor. And it looks like we got a timeout. And the Shockers are going to be the ones that call it. Timeout on the floor with 2:53 left. Desperation time for Wichita State as USF has outscored the Shockers by 12 in the second half. We knew there was a run coming from USF, and sure enough, it didn't take them long. Right out of the gate, they got 5 points, and they haven't really looked back since.
You know, they've done a great job of executing and getting some open shots at the rim. Shockers have not had very many open shots at the rim, but they got an opportunity right here, out of bounds, underneath. It's a big play for Coach Mills and the Shockers. Down 5. They really need to score right here.
And a tie-up will give it to USF. That is going to be the 7th steal for Isaiah Nelson.
Well, they've done a good job of switching to keep the ball away from Giles on those out-of-bounds plays. So the guy that's been open is Will Berg, but great job by Isaiah Nelson to get his hands in there and tie the basketball up.
We've seen a lot of those, a lot of tie balls. And I got to say, regardless of who wins, both of these defenses can feel pretty proud of themselves. There's been a lot of grit and fight from both clubs. Brown partially blocked. Wichita State gets a stop.
Yeah, I think Berg blocked that one. That's a big block. Shockers needed a stop there. They need to score. The clock is getting down there.
Gray wouldn't go. And Berg crashes over Nelson and through him to pick up a foul.
Yeah, that's going to be a 1-1 at the other end for, I believe, Isaiah Nelson.
Wichita State has missed 40 of its 59 shots tonight and 22 of its 28 three-point attempts.
Yeah, that's another pretty good open look by Michael Gray. He's 2 for 8 tonight.
Opponents hit 36% on average from 3 against USF this year. And the Shockers, remember, down in Tampa, were 12 of 23 from long range, but no such luck for the Shockers here tonight.
Yeah, they shot the 3 very well, especially in the first half down in Tampa. I'll tell you what, Isaiah Nelson is walking pretty gingerly. I think he had a cramp in one of his legs after that foul.
Missed the free throw, but an offensive rebound by Isaiah Jones.
Yeah, just a poor box out by Wichita State. And not only did Jones get the rebound, he got fouled. I think that was on Berg again.
Isaiah Jones is an excellent foul shooter. Doesn't get there often, but doesn't miss often either.
Yeah, just a lack of concentration there by Wichita State. You've got to get that rebound on a missed free throw.
That's Jones' first point of the night. And USF trying to return the favor after the Shockers stole one in Tampa last month.
You know, they averaged just under 90 points a game. The Shockers have averaged just under 80 points a game. Very unusual for these two teams to have a game in the 50s.
2 big free throws by Isaiah Jones. And the Shockers are behind the 8 ball now. Approaching 2 minutes, Bulls by 7. And Karan Boyd is still scoreless tonight.
Yeah, Omajafo's done a really good job on Boyd.
Giles couldn't hit. The Shockers have missed 15 of their last 16 shots.
Boy, that looked like it was coming right down into Berg's lap, but he just couldn't get his hands on it. Brian Hodson wants a timeout. He's going to talk about things, make sure all of his team knows the time and the score. And the clock now is the thing that they're going to worry about, trying to run clock.
Boy, if USF hangs on tonight, Bob, that is, I don't want to say it's a signature win or a statement win, but there weren't too many teams in the league hotter than Wichita State and had taken care of their home floor. They'd won their last 4 in this building, but the Bulls have come in here and, at least to this point, have taken it right away from them.
Yeah, both teams have won 5 of their last 6 ball games, and as you mentioned, the Shockers have been winning here at home. The last loss was Rice back a number of weeks ago. But I tell you what, you got to give the Bulls credit. They're playing outstanding defense, and every time the Shockers get near the basket, there's a swarm of black and green jerseys all around them. And they've really picked up their rebounding here in the second half. The Shockers were getting multiple tries in the first half because of the offensive rebounding, but here in the second half, it's been a different story. South Florida has really protected their defensive boards and shut down the offensive rebound of Wichita State.
They're +9 in this half on the glass, and they've grabbed 9 offensive rebounds. Talking about the Bulls. So they have really ratcheted up the intensity, and they have had the better of it here in the second half in a uncharacteristically low-scoring game. The Bulls are outscoring the Shockers by 14 in the second half.
Well, we've talked all year about how good an offensive rebounding team Wichita State is. They're number 5 in the country on offensive rebounds, but the Bulls are number 3 in the country for offensive rebounds, so a little bit better even. So important for them to take care of the basketball now and keep the ball in the hands of good free throw shooters.
And any kind of points here on this trip will be paramount for the Bulls. Enos cut off by Berg. 10 to shoot. Brown to Omajafo. He goes sailing in, and he's going to draw contact from Berg. So that was really a great result by USF. They ran the shot clock down, and they're going to maybe not have automatic points, but they'll have a chance at them. A couple of free throws.
I don't think it would have been a foul on Karan Boyd had he not brought that right arm down, but he brought that right arm down, and that's why the referee called the foul.
Omajafo shot 16 free throws in Tampa against Wichita State. He shot 1 tonight. He's now 1 of 2. He's got 6 points.
He's been busy covering Karan Boyd. Karan Boyd has been covering him, and Boyd's been covering Omajafo. Those two guys have been battling. They're both 6'6", 200-plus pounds. Really, really good athletes.
Omajafo could have made it a 3-possession game. He'll settle for 1 out of 2. He's got 7 points, and the Shockers are desperate for any kind of points. They are working on a 4-minute drought, and finally it ends as Giles, with a little teardrop off the glass, an immediate Wichita State timeout to cut it to 6.
A quick timeout by Paul Mills after that ball went through the basket. Nice floater here. Giles shot it before he got right in towards the basket. That's where the Shockers needed to do more of this half. I think they tried to get the ball too close to the basket, and they ran into too many defenders. Where it was open is that 8 to 10 foot range, and that's what Giles did that time. Pulled up from about 10 feet and banked it in.
Wichita State only 29% from the floor in this half on 8 of 28. South Florida's been only marginally better, but the rebounds, the offensive rebounds, and USF getting marginally better as far as the turnovers were concerned. Only 6 turnovers as opposed to 12 in the first half.
Yeah, they've taken care of the ball a lot better. But looking at Wichita State, 22 points by Giles, but Karan Boyd 0, and T.J. Williams just 2. Gray's got 11, but 4 out of 13 and 2 out of 8 from the floor. And the big guy Berg, 10 points. They just had a hard time getting the ball in the basket, and you got to credit USF for playing really, really good defense, especially here in the second half.
Wes Enos for USF with his first career double-double and a career-best 11 rebounds. He had a really miserable first half handling the ball, but he's been a big reason why USF has forged this 6-point lead that they enjoy right now.
Yeah, 12 turnovers in the first half and just 6 here in the second half, so they've done a lot better job. Okay, they're going to line up in the football play, put everybody out of bounds, and they'll sprint down the court, and one of the guards will double back for the basketball. Now they're going to give it to Nelson.
And he gets it up to C.J. Brown, who brings it across the timeline. Looks like Wichita State's going to play it straight up, but USF is going to bleed a lot of this clock down, and inside a minute before Wichita State touches it either way. And Brown knifes all the way to the basket. I don't know if Wichita State thought that C.J. Brown was going to go all the way to the cup, but he laid it in.
Well, he loves to go left. Needed to get on his left hand, but nice play by Brown.
Giles fouled. We go to the line, and if that's on Pinion, he is out. But USF in the catbird seat right now.
He can't believe that the foul was called on him. Well, there was a little bit of contact there, not much. But Kenyon Giles is going to go to the line, but the Shockers are in trouble now, down 8. Only 49 seconds.
And Coach Hodgson, of course, has 60 seconds to decide who his sub's going to be, so he took advantage of that and had a little mini timeout that he took advantage of. Giles to the line. Pinion fouls out with 8 points. Giles has 22, but he's taken 21 shots to get it, and he's 4 of 13 from three-point range.
Well, they've made him work for all the points that he's gotten tonight. They were really dogging him all over the court.
Second free throw is good. So Giles back-to-back 20-plus points games against the Bulls.
Wichita State needs some turnovers.
And instead, they're going to force the foul in backcourt. And to foul C.J. Brown. Brown, 75% from the stripe on the year. He's 1 of 2 tonight.
Yeah, he shot a lot of free throws this year, 127 attempts. So he gets to the line a lot.
Yeah, he, Nelson, Omajafo, they live there.
This guy Brown, he hasn't had a turnover in the 2 previous games. He's done a great job of taking care of the ball for South Florida.
So Wichita State had control of this one in the first half, but it's really been all Bulls in the second. Second free throw missed, but Gray lost it out of bounds.
Well, that's the second time here in the last couple of minutes that Wichita State has failed to secure a rebound on a missed free throw. And that just kill you. That one took a kind of a wild bounce. Gray made a good effort, but couldn't save it.
Look at that stat sheet. A stalemate offensive rebound-wise. Shockers 15, Bulls 14. 2 of the best in the country. Into Nelson. Giles forced to foul.
Well, the Bulls have tried to give the Shockers some opportunities, missing these free throws, but Shockers have not been able to secure the rebounds.
Uncharacteristic 58% from the line tonight. And it's getting worse. But Shockers are running out of time in possessions regardless of the misses here.
Yeah, they're 74% as a team. They're an excellent free throw shooting team.
Nelson with 13 points and 9 rebounds to go with 7 steals. And their defense in the last 5 or 6 minutes has just been suffocating. The T will go to the free throw line. Shockers have missed 15 of their last 17 shots from the floor.
Well, that time the Shockers had them spread out a little bit. They were guarding against the three-point shot, so you saw all the black and green jerseys out covering shooters on the perimeter. So Dylan Battie read that, took the ball to the basket, and now he can score a couple of points with the clock stopped if he can make the free throws.
Battie with 8 points tonight. Wichita State held to 23 points here in this half.
There we go.
Wichita State continuing to sub defense for offense with the freshman Noah Hill. Semi-protecting Will Berg with 4 fouls. And a timeout by Wichita State. Shockers have 1 left, and they need a prayer answered. Down 6 with 34 seconds remaining.
Yeah, the time is running out for Wichita State. Technically, it's a 2-possession game, so a couple of turnovers, a couple of threes, and it could be a crazy finish like it was down in Tampa. Actually, South Florida had that game sealed with about 15, 20 seconds to go. They had the basketball up by 1. All they had to do is run the clock out. They dribbled across half court, then made a careless pass that Kenyon Giles stole, went down, made a tough basket to give the Shockers a lead. So I can imagine that's on their mind right now to take care of the basketball. I'm sure Coach Hodgson told them, hey, take care of the ball here. Don't assume that this game is over.
And already way more turnovers tonight than they normally give to the opposition. They sailed by that in the first half, but they've been better in the second.
Well, crazy things can happen at the end of college basketball games.
Brown to key it in. Does so to Nelson. And he's one of those rare big guys, although not necessarily tonight, Bob, that you really trust at the end of games because he's a good rebounder and generally speaking, he's been an excellent foul shooter.
Yeah, they just throw the ball into the corner, and then he throws over the trap. But he got fouled before he could pass the ball. How many steals did you say he had tonight?
7.
Wow.
7 steals.
When's the last time you saw a big guy have 7 steals?
Hakeem Olajuwon, maybe?
That's amazing.
Nelson gets 2 now as the Shockers have put the Bulls in the double bonus.
That puts him at, 14 points?
9 rebounds, 7 steals for Nelson. Simply put, USF has just taken this one away from Wichita State. Shockers had a 7-point halftime lead, but this Bulls defense, uncharacteristically, was like a vice. And the Shockers could do very little offensively.
Well, Michael Gray got in there near the basket, tried to flip it over to Will Berg. Got deflected out of bounds.
Giles blocked by Nelson. What hasn't Isaiah Nelson done tonight? His second block shot. And that is going to do it. The Bulls have come to Wichita, returned the favor, split the season series, and remain atop the American. A big boy win for the Bulls, 66-58, short-circuiting Wichita State's last 6-game rally. Shockers will be left to pick up the pieces and get ready for Tulsa. South Florida will head home, or back to their home state of Florida anyway, and take on Florida Atlantic in a big-time rivalry game there. Rivalry game in Florida, rivalry game here this weekend. We look forward to bringing both of them to you on the Plus. We'll be right back. USF only led 33 seconds in the first half, but the Bulls came out with a rush in the second half and blitzed Wichita State, ending up with a 66-58 victory here tonight. The first career double-double for our guest here at the table, Wes Enos, 16 points, a career best, 11 rebounds. And first of all, congratulations, Wes. What was the difference between the first half and the second half?
We turned the ball over a lot in the first half, and that starts with me. But we were really, really close, and we know if we cleaned up the glass and played at our pace, we were going to come out on top.
What did you learn from the January 18th game down in Tampa, and what did you apply to that here in a revenge game against Wichita State?
Yeah, I felt like I gave the game away with the turnover late, and just so taking care of the ball better. But just coming ready to play. They jumped out on us like 33-15 at our play, so we came out kind of slow. So just coming ready to go for all 40 minutes.
Wes, at halftime, Shockers were up 5 rebounds total to your rebounds, and they had 9 offensive rebounds. I'm sure Coach talked about that at halftime because I thought you guys rebounded a lot better in the second half.
Yeah, 100%. He talked about that, limiting, their second chance points. They have a big 7-footer who's tough to box out. But, just limited turnovers and limit their offensive rebounds. We knew we were going to come out on success.
Well, both teams were having trouble making threes, so it seemed like you guys just said, okay, forget about the threes. We're just going to take the ball to the basket.
Yeah, they were built out on our shooters. We knew it was going to be one-on-one at the rim, so we knew how to go convert. So just doing that and finishing at the rim.
Anytime you get a win on the road or win in conference, you get both here tonight, and then you got a rivalry game coming up with Florida Atlantic. So here we go down the stretch, right? This is a fun time of the year.
Yeah, this is a fun time. When basketball starts to get important late in the year with February and March. So, you got to turn up, fine-tune things, and be ready to go.
Congratulations, Wes.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Great win over Tulsa the other day, and then now over Wichita State.
Yes, sir. Hopefully keep it rolling. Thank y'all.
Good
Have
job.
a great night.
Double-double for Wes Enos. He had 16 points and 11 rebounds. The play of the game was one of the 2 second-half three-pointers by Joseph Pinion. He ended up fouling out, but he really was one of the catalysts, Bob, that the Bulls came out with a rush, and Wichita State really didn't have an answer for. And there's our player of the game who we just talked to, and he mentioned before we went on the air that he had those 5 first-half turnovers, and he kind of had a sheepish grin on his face. He ended up with 7, but he also had 11 rebounds and played 36 minutes tonight. First career double-double for Wes Enos.
Well, he had the turnover that cost him the game down at Tampa. You heard him mention that just a minute ago, so he wasn't going to let that happen again. But, they really cleaned up the turnovers at halftime and did a good job on the boards. I'll tell you, Minion did a good job of getting them out of the gates quickly in the second half. That 7-point lead disappeared quickly that they had here at halftime.
Look at that upper right. Wichita State, 31.7% from the game, 26.7 in the second half, and missed 23 of their 29 three-pointers. They were 12 of 23 down in Tampa from long range, and you would think the home cooking would help, but again, that's a testament to USF's defense tonight.
Yeah, and they won in spite of 18 turnovers. And look at the points in the paint. They were plus 10 points in the paint. That's usually something, a stat that the Shockers win. So good job by South Florida of getting to the basket and scoring at the hoop and winning the points in the paint stat.
We are down to the final 5 regular season games in the conference. It's the war on I-4 between South Florida and Florida Atlantic coming up, and Tulsa invades Wichita on Saturday. Should be a great weekend of basketball in the American, Bob.
Well, when they're in first place, every game's a big game, so they're fighting to stay in first place, and the Shockers are fighting to move up those standings.
For my broadcast partner, Bob Hall, for our entire excellent ESPN Plus crew, Shane Dennis saying thanks for watching. It was a great one here in the Roundhouse tonight, but it goes to the Bulls, 66-58 at Charles Koch Arena.